John Fishman, first in the live chat. How you doing this morning, John? Hopefully you are doing well this Friday. TGIF. Kevin's card collecting and more is in at the same time. Let me get you guys entered into my wheel of names for the September drawing. Awesome. Hopefully you all are ready for a fun-filled Hall of Fame Friday. Let's see. Let me get John in first here. Faith, family, and sports. Also in first in the live chat. Same timestamp. So let me get all three of you in here real quick. Let me get my... Oh, my word. All right, I got John in here. Let me get Kevin in, and then Aaron, Faith, Family, and Sports. Aaron, did you get your package in the mail yet? Just kind of curious. I didn't have a chance to do a checkup and a follow-up today. I know you and Ethan are the only two that hadn't received my packages from earlier this month. So just kind of curious on the update on that realm. Let me get Kevin entered into the wheel of names here. All right, I got Kevin in here. Let me get Faith, Family, and Sports. Faith, Family, and Sports. Get him entered and give him his other entry into my September drawing. Got a few more days. Next Wednesday we'll have the drawing for the September drawing. All right, let me get this saved. So then I can pop back in the chat here with you all. All right, get the September name, wheel of names, all good to go here as we continue through. Can't stay long sitting at the hospital with wife's dad. He is not doing well, so remember their family in your prayers. Thanks. Oh, no problem there, Aaron. We will be praying for your wife's father in the hospital. I haven't gotten it yet, Donald. Okay, I'll try and check, see if there's any new status on the USPS website. You can always go to the USPS website and type in the tracking number that is coming your way, and you'll be able to do research on that. But I'm pretty sure you're busy right now, so I'll see what I can try and find out later if I do have a chance. But everybody keep faith, family, and sport. Keep Aaron's wife in your prayers with her dad being in the hospital. All right. Hopefully everything works out there. Don't know the whole situation behind that, but keep them in your prayers. Appreciate that. Does help throughout, especially with everything that's going on these days, to keep people in our prayers when that is mentioned. So just remember that in your prayers. Faith, family, and sports. Aaron's wife's dad is in the hospital. All right. So hopefully everybody's ready for our Hall of Fame Friday. We'll get ready to rock and roll here soon. I see we've got a couple of thumbs up. 5 people watching right now. Just don't forget thummies up, thummies up, thummies up for me. See if we can get 10 people here before we get into our blaster box later after the Hall of Fame lineup that we have today. All right. Would have been on a few minutes earlier and stuff, but was ready to sit down after sorting some baseball cards this morning prior to the stream, having everything ready last night. I've been in a sorting process for my new mystery packs, 50 years of baseball. I think I got to change it. It's not really going to be a series 2. It's going to be, this next run here is going to have to be a series 1 on this one. So I'm going to have to change that, because since my red, white, and blue, I decided not to do a Left Behind Times is in the house. How you doing there, Left Behind? Thanks for popping into the stream with us today. Appreciate you being here. Left Behind Times is in the house. All right. Sup, all in the chat. I think Kevin's probably still here there, Left Behind. He's hanging out with us today. But in about 5 minutes here, we will get into our content at hand. And if you do get a chance, read through the description in this video. I'm going to make one minor change to that. If you do get a chance, it's not going to be a series 2. I'm going to change that, and it's just going to be a series 1, since this is the first of this type. Down the road, I might do a series. Maybe I'll do a 2021 Red, White, and Blue Series 2. We'll see if I want to do that format again. But I'm going to try and do a different format and see how this one goes over. We'll start out with a limited run of maybe about 50 mystery bags. And if the sales move along at a pretty good clip, I'll be adding continual inventory to that. Looking forward to seeing that. I have a mystery box to open later on today. Just arrived in the mail yesterday. A mystery box. That's pretty cool. All right. Nice, Kevin. Looking forward to seeing that. There we go. All right. So then, but yeah. So for my 2020 50 years of baseball mystery packs that I'm going to be putting together here, which should be available on my eBay channel come October 1st, which is next Thursday. I'm hoping I can have the some of the bags ready for distribution. I'll get some together and put a quantity up there, and as I get more put together, I'll increase my quantity on my listing as we go along. It's not cards, but baseball related. Wink, wink. All right. So that will be definitely a mystery box. You're going to be live at 3 o'clock right there, Kevin? Your normal time, about 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So on my mystery bags, each bag will contain 40 cards each to include the following. The mystery bags will be $34.95 each. I decided to be my price point on these, about $5 more than the other one, but you do get 40 cards in here, and each buy more in the same transaction gives you discounts as laid out on the listing. So if you buy two mystery packs, you'll get a discounted price, 3, 4, depending on which. And then along with this, you'll also get 2 Hall of Fame player cards with limited rookie card Hall of Famers included randomly. So you have a chance of getting a Hall of Famer, either a rookie card or an early year card. Then you will get 1 short print or insert or serialized card, 1 relic card, and 1 autograph card. So that is what you'll get in my 50 years of baseball. Okay. So of course, again, the randomness and the neatness in this is those 35 different year random cards. So within that 50-year period, you will have 35 different cards for different years throughout that 50-year period. So you'll have, for example, one card from 2020, 1 card from 2019, 1 card from 2018, going down all the way down to 1971. So from 1971 up to date, you'll get 35 different years represented within that 35 card period. And then the 2 Hall of Famer cards, the short print card, the relic card, the autograph card, they will just be randomly chosen and put into the mystery bag. So that is what we got there. We do have 10:30 sharp. So without further ado, I will move back up to this, do my live chat refresh so I know where I left off in the chat, and we will get into our Baseball Hall of Fame Friday inductees for 1945. This is my new product I did get in. I do have these now, so you might randomly get one of these in a package sent to you. These are little hologram sticker cards, as you remember back from the day probably, with Upper Deck and things like that. John Fishman says, "Donald is my hero." All right, so I'm going to set this aside. This goes into a holdout for somebody that I'm getting a package ready for, and will be meeting up with in the not so near future. All right, I'm digging those stickers, cool stickers. All right, so let's get into our content at hand for today, the Hall of Fame inductees for 1945. So just a heads up, after this week, we only have 6 weeks to go to finish up all the Hall of Fame inductees, including the 2020 inductees for all of the Hall of Fame players in the Hall of Fame. It's hard to believe that I've gone through the whole series from 2020. We're currently on 1945, then we go 1944, then we jump to 1942, then 39, 38, 37, and 36. We'll end the Hall of Fame series with the 1936 Hall of Famers, which was the first year that the Hall of Fame went into effect. So without further ado, we'll talk about that another time there, John. We'll talk about that another time. But for now, we are on the 1945 Hall of Fame inductees, and we will start in my normal fashion. A matter of fact, all these are all postcards from my postcard binder for the Hall of Famers for this round. So first up to bat is Roger Bresnahan. Roger Philip Bresnahan, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1945. His primary team, he was a New York Giant. And he was a catcher. Let me refresh the chat here. Donald is my hero. I'm digging those stickers. Cool sticker, says Kevin. You should do a Pete Rose one just because he deserves to be in it. You got to go over the rule book of how you become a Hall of Famer there, John. So there is a lot that is involved in the process, not just being a all-around good baseball player. You have to follow the rules to make it into the Hall of Fame realm. I'll leave it at that for now. Yes, Pete Rose was an awesome player, but he did make an awesome mistake also. Something he should not have done. All right, so we'll leave it at that, and we will continue on with Roger Bresnahan. His mark on the game is seen in every contest at every level whenever a catcher dons shin guards. Roger Bresnahan, however, did more than revolutionize how catchers dressed. He changed the way the position was played. Born June 11, 1879 in Toledo, Ohio, Bresnahan, known as the Duke of Tralee due to his Irish roots, began his big league career as a pitcher in 1897 with the National League's Washington Senators. By 1901, Bresnahan found himself with the Baltimore Orioles of a new American League. The Orioles catcher, future Hall of Fame manager Wilbert Robinson, was sidelined with an injury. As a pitcher, Bresnahan was displeased with the Orioles' backup receivers, leading manager John McGraw, to ask if Bresnahan wanted to catch. From that day on, Bresnahan was a catcher. "I never thought catching was hard," Bresnahan said. "I liked it." Bresnahan hit .268 that year as a first-year receiver, then jumped to the National League along with McGraw in 1902 to play for the Giants. In 1903, Bresnahan hit .350, then led the Giants to the National League pennants in 1904 and 1905. He hit .313 with 3 runs scored in the Giants' 1905 World Series win over the Philadelphia Athletics. In 1907, became the first catcher to wear shin guards, another in a long line of protective gear innovations, including a rudimentary batting helmet that Bresnahan brought to the game. Boy, they sure called me lots of names when I tried on those shin guards, Bresnahan said. They must have been a good idea at that, though, because they tell me catchers still wear them. Bresnahan retired as an active player after the 1915 season, having played 17 big league seasons. He compiled a .279 career batting average with 1,252 hits. He also managed 4 full seasons with the Cardinals in 1909 to 1912 and 1 with the Cubs in 1915. Roger is a fighter, wrote Fred Lieb in Baseball Magazine. He was a fighter when he was a pupil of John McGraw's, and he instilled his fighting spirit into his team. He passed away December 4th, 1944, and was elected into the Hall of Fame in 1945. The keynote to Bresnahan's success lies in his self-confidence and aggressiveness. He has infused a great deal of his spirit into his teammates, said Fred Lieb again of Baseball Magazine in October of 1911. For his career at a glance, he played in 1,446 games. He had 4,481 at-bats, scored 682 runs, 1,252 hits, 218 doubles, 71 triples, 26 home runs, 530 RBIs, 212 stolen bases, 714 walks, a batting average of .279 for his career, an OPS of .764, an on-base percentage of .386, and a slugging percentage of .377. During his playing years, he played for the Washington Senators in 1897, the Chicago Cubs in 1900, Baltimore Orioles with the American League in 1901 and 1902, then from the end of 1902 to 1908 with the New York Giants, St. Louis Cardinals 1909 to 1912, and then the Chicago Cubs when he ended his career from 1913 to 1915. When he was managing, he also managed the St. Louis Cardinals 1909 to 1912, and his last year of baseball, 1915, with the Chicago Cubs, was a player and manager. So there you have it, our first Hall of Famer, Roger Bresnahan. All right. Move him off here and move our next Hall of Famer up to the batting cage or up to bat. That's never mind. Don't mind me. I'm just moving the cards in the manner that I do. And if Sally Lloyd was here, she'd say, I don't like these tombstone cards. I have not seen Sally Lloyd in like forever. Let me shift that just a little bit. So our second Hall of Famer is Dan Brouthers. Dan Brouthers. All right, Dennis Joseph Brouthers, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1945. His primary team was the Buffalo Bisons, and he was a first baseman back in the day. He was a power hitter in the era built for speed and contact at the plate. Dan Brouthers, however, was strong enough and smart enough to become one of baseball's first great long ball hitters. Born May 8th in 1858 in Sylvan Lake, New York, Brouthers became an amateur star in upstate New York thanks to a strapping 6-foot 2-inch, 207-pound build that made him one of the large players of his era. He made his big league debut in 1879 with the Troy Trojans of the National League, but was released after just 39 games. After playing in the minors for most of the 1880 season, Brouthers appeared in 3 more games with Troy, then hooked on with the National League's Buffalo Bisons in 1881. Over the next 5 seasons, Brouthers led the league in batting average twice, hits twice, triples once, and runs batted in once. From 1886 through 1894, Brouthers starred for National League teams in Detroit, Boston, Brooklyn, and Baltimore, and also made stops with teams in the Players League and the American Association. He was a great hitter, one of the most powerful batters of all time, said future Hall of Famer manager John McGraw, who was a teammate of Brouthers with the 1894 Baltimore team that scored 1,171 runs in just 129 games. Big Dan, in his prime, against modern pitching and modern lively ball, would have hit as many home runs as anybody. Brouthers was part-time player in his final 3 big league seasons, retiring for good after the 1904 campaign. He won 5 batting titles and led the league in slugging percentage 7 times. The powerful lefty batter never hit worse than 300 in a full season, compiling a 342 career average. He drove in at least 100 runs in 5 different seasons and scored 100 or more runs in 8 seasons. Brouthers' total of 107 career home runs ranked 4th among players who were active in the 19th century. Whoa. Hold on just a second. It's a big windstorm brewing outside. Let me take a peek real quick, see what's going on out here. My word. Let me open up my blinds here so I can keep an eye outside my house. The storm is a brewing. Another windstorm today. Boy, we've been having a windy week so far. All right. Brouthers meant little to the younger generation, wrote baseball historian Cy Goodfriend, but he was a great player among great players in his day. Brouthers passed away on August the 2nd, 1932, and he was elected into the Hall of Fame in 1945. He was a great hitter, one of the most powerful batters of all time. Big Dan, in his prime, against the present-day pitching and then modern lively ball, would have hit as many home runs as anybody, said John McGraw. His career stats and career at a glance: he played in 1,673 games, had 6,711 at-bats, scored 1,523 runs, 2,296 hits, 460 doubles, 205 triples, 107 home runs, 1,296 RBIs, 256 stolen bases, 840 walks. He had a career batting average of 342, an OPS of 942, an on-base percentage of 423, and a slugging percentage of 519. He played for many teams during his illustrious career. He played with the Troy Trojans from 1879 to 1880, the Buffalo Bisons from 1881 to 1885, the Detroit Wolverines from 1886 to 1888, the Boston Braves in 1889, the Boston Reds in 1890 to 1891, the Brooklyn Dodgers from 1892 to 93, the Baltimore Orioles in the National League from 1894 and 1895, the Louisville Colonels in 1895, the Philadelphia Phillies in 1896, and he ended his career with the New York Giants in 1904. So there you have it, Dan Brouthers. All right, moving on to the next one in our lineup, Fred Clarke, our third Hall of Famer for 1945. Okay, let my favorite gospel song of all time, Till the Storm Passes By. You made me think of it when you said that about the wind. Thanks there, Left Behind. That is awesome. Yes, till the storm passes by. Amen, brother. What a storm we're in these days in our country, too. All right. So Fred Clifford Clarke, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1945. His primary team was the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he was a left fielder. 24-year-olds are not often found in leadership positions, but at that age, Fred Clarke fit right as the player and skipper of a major league club. As one of the first boy managers, Clarke starred in left field and led his team to win from the field and the dugout. I tell you, managing a team from the bench is far different from directing from the field, he said. I would much rather be a playing manager, not only because I like to play ball, but because when I am in there playing, my mind is on the game and not filled with the perplexities and troubles of the manager. Born October 3, 1872 in Winterset, Iowa, Clarke spent a lot of time on a ball diamond as a youngster. I thought I was pretty good if I caught half of the fly balls that came to me, Clarke said. He signed with the Louisville Colonels in 1894 and hit .347 in his first full season in 1895. Winning over fans and fellow players alike, Clarke was named manager in 1897 and saw limited success leading the team. But when the Colonels ceased to play in 1900, Pittsburgh Pirates owner Barney Dreyfuss brought several of his best Louisville players to Pittsburgh, including Clarke and Honus Wagner. Dreyfuss immediately named Clarke captain manager. The team went from a seventh place finish in 1899 to second place in Clarke's first season in Pittsburgh in 1900. Clarke led the Pirates to pennants from 1901 to 1903 and 1909 in a World Series championship in 1909. You've got to love baseball and want to play it above all else, Clarke said. You have to take every opportunity to practice and play and not be discouraged. The most important thing is desire. Clarke batted better than .300 11 times, stole more than 30 bases 7 times, and led the National League fielders in fielding percentage twice as manager. Clarke won 1,602 games with a .576 winning percentage. As a player, Clarke's name will go down in history as one of the greatest in the game. In his prime, he was a remarkable batsman, said sports writer William Slocum. Clarke was elected into the Hall of Fame in 1945, and he passed away on August 14, 1960. He was one of the fastest base runners of all time. He used his elbows in running as much as his legs and tried to jar the ball loose whenever the infielders held it. Baseball Hall of Fame historian Lee Allen said, as far as his career stats and career at a glance, he played in 2,246 games, 8,584 at-bats, 1,622 runs scored, 2,678 hits, 361 doubles, 220 triples, 67 home runs, 1,015 RBIs, 509 stolen bases, 875 walks. He had a career batting average of .312, an OPS of .815, an on-base percentage of .386, and a slugging percentage of .429. During his playing years, he played for the Louisville Colonels from 1894 to 1899, the Pittsburgh Pirates from 1900 to 1911, and then from 1913 to 1915. During his managing career with the Louisville Colonels from 1897 to 1899 as a player manager, and the Pittsburgh Pirates from 1900 to 1915 as a player manager. So there you have it, our third Hall of Famer, Fred Clarke. Moving now on to Jimmy Collins. Jimmy Collins is our fourth Hall of Famer for today, and he is up to bat now. James Joseph Collins, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1945. His primary team was the Boston Red Sox, and he was a third baseman. Okay. Jimmy Collins was a star as baseball entered the 20th century, acclaimed by many as the king of third baseman. And while he was a good hitter, finishing with a 294 lifetime average, it was as a fielder he won the headlines. Collins was a model for all third basemen, the king of trappers and footworkers, wrote 1978 J.G. Taylor Spink Award winner Tim Murnane. Collins was always graceful. Bill Bradley, another great third baseman, would get twice the applause on the same play Collins made easy. The two best third basemen I ever saw defensively until Ozzie Bluge came along were Collins and Bill Bradley of Cleveland, said Washington Senators owner Clarke Griffith, a former player and Hall of Fame executive, but Collins with the Red Sox was a shade better. He was a cat on bunts. As the toast of Boston, Collins, having spent the majority of his 14 big-year league career with the Braves or the Red Sox, is credited with revolutionizing third base play, whether it was setting up defensively away from the bag or mastering the art of defense against the bunt. I came to the conclusion there was only one solution to his bunting game. A third baseman had to give himself a chance to get those fast guys, Collins said. Once around the circuit, you knew who would bunt and who wouldn't. You knew John McGraw and Willie Keeler were bunters, so I played them on the edge of the grass. McGraw bunted, and I came in as fast as I dared, picked up the ball one-handed, and threw it underhanded to first base. He was out. Keeler tried it and nailed him by a step. I had to throw out 4 bunters in a row before the Orioles quit bunting that afternoon. Collins spent a 6-year stint in 1901 to 1906 as a player-manager of the Red Sox in the fledgling American League, skippering his team to 2 pennants and a triumph over the Pittsburgh Pirates in the first modern World Series in 1903. At the time of his death, Collins was considered by many baseball observers as the best player at his position of all time. They say, I was the greatest third baseman, and I would like to believe it, Collins said, but I don't know. There were many great third basemen in my day. I gave baseball everything I had, and when I quit, I was like the guy who died with his boots on. Collins passed away on March 6, 1943, and he was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1945. With a swoop like that of a chicken hawk, Collins would gather up the bunt and throw it accurately to whoever should receive it. The beauty about him was that he could throw from any angle, any position on the ground, or in the air, said John B. Foster, Spalding Guides of 1902. As far as his career stats and a career at a glance, he played in 1,725 games, 6,795 at-bats, 1,055 runs, 1,999 hits, 352 doubles, 116 triples, 65 home runs, 983 RBIs, 194 stolen bases, 426 walks, career batting average of .294, OPS of .752, on base percentage of .343, and a slugging percentage of .409. During his playing days, he played for the Boston Braves 1895 to 1900, the Louisville Colonels also in 1895, the Boston Red Sox 1901 to 1907, and the Philadelphia Athletics from 1907 to 1908. During his managing careers in 1901 through 1906, same year he played with Boston Red Sox, he was a manager. So there you have it, our 4th Hall of Famer, Jimmy Collins. All right, next up to bat, we got our 5th Hall of Famer for today, Ed Delahanty. Ed Delahanty is our 5th Hall of Famer for 1945. Edward Delahanty. Edward James Delahanty, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1945. His primary team was the Philadelphia Phillies, and he was a left fielder. Arguably one of the best players of the 19th century, Ed Delahanty was the first player in modern Major League history to hit over 400 3 times. The eldest of 5 brothers to play in the big leagues, Big Ed was a 5-tool player. He could hit for power and average, was a terrific fielder with a strong arm, and was quick in the base paths, leading the National League in stolen bases with 58 in 1898. Sporting Life, the prominent sports publication of the 19th century, commented, Delahanty is an awfully even, well-balanced player all around. You look at his batting and say, well, that chap is valuable if he couldn't catch the measles. And then you look at his fielding and conclude that it wouldn't pay to let him go if he could hit a bat bag. Not only could the big left fielder slug doubles and home runs, but he could hit the ball all over the field depending on the situation. If the outfielders played deep, he would drop one in front of them. At normal depth, he would slug away and try to put one over their heads. Reds hurler Philip Red Arrett said Delahanty was the hardest man in the league for pitchers to puzzle. Sam Crawford called him the best right-handed hitter I ever saw. In the 16 years in the big leagues, Delahanty led the league in home runs twice, RBIs 3 times, doubles 5 times, batting average twice, hits and triples once. Twice, Big Ed went 6 for 6 in a game, and he once went 9 for 9 in a doubleheader. 20-year veteran backstop Jack O'Connor recalled, if Del had weakness at the bat, I never could discover it. Delahanty was one of baseball's first superstars. Conscious of his star power, Delahanty jumped teams several times in search of bigger payday. First in 1890 to the Players' League, and then again in 1902 to the American League. An agreement between the two leagues in 1903 prevented Delahanty from jumping to National League's New York Giants. At the age of 35, Delahanty's life came to a tragic end when he exited a train and fell off the International Railway Bridge that crossed over Niagara Falls on July 2, 1903. Years after his death, the Sporting News wrote of Delahanty, he was among the greatest batters the game ever produced. Great batters, like poets, are born and not made. Delahanty was elected into the Hall of Fame in 1945. I think Ed was the best right-handed hitter I ever saw, said Sam Crawford. His career at a glance and career stats are the following. Games played, 1,837, 7,510 at-bats, 1,600 runs, 2,597 hits, 522 doubles, 186 triples, 101 home runs, 1,466 RBIs, 456 stolen bases, 742 walks, a career batting average of .346, an OPS of .917, an on-base percentage of .411, a slugging percentage of .505. During his playing career, he played for the Philadelphia Phillies from 1888 to 1889, Cleveland Infants from 1890, the Philadelphia Phillies back again, 1891 to 1901, and the Washington Senators from 1902 to 1903. So there you have it. Ed Delahanty was our 5th Hall of Famer, and next we move on to Hugh Duffy. Hugh Duffy is next up to bat here. Hugh Duffy, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1945, his primary team, the Boston Braves, and his primary position was an outfielder. Hugh Duffy was one of the top batsmen of the 1800s, recording more hits, home runs, and runs batted in during the decade than any other player in the game. He teamed with fellow Hall of Famer Tommy McCarthy to form the Heavenly Twins, outfield tandem for the Boston Beaneaters that captured the two-league pennants and pre-modern World Series championships in 1892 and 1893. A player, coach, manager, executive, and team owner, Hugh Duffy's career in baseball spanned an amazing 68 years. Scouted by Cap Anson, Duffy was originally signed to play for the Chicago White Stockings in 1888. Not only could Duffy swing the bat, but he had terrific range in the outfield. Fred Clarke recalled, Duffy was a great center fielder and an outstanding right-handed hitter. He was a choke hitter who would wrap hits everywhere with good power. In 1894, Duffy put together his finest season when he compiled a record .440 batting average on 237 hits, led the league in home runs with 18, knocked in 145 runs, hit 51 doubles, and scored 160 times. On June 18th of that year, he established a major league mark when he reached base safely 3 times in one inning. It's very evident that when a batter has a bang-up season, he must begin just right, find conditions favorable, and go straight ahead through the season full speed. Duffy said of the 1894 campaign, "That was what I did back there in 94. I got away to a good start and I held my advantage." During his time as a coach, Duffy had the opportunity to mentor Ted Williams during Williams's 406 season in 1941. Duffy maintained that the splendid Splinter was the best hitter he'd ever seen. Sir Hughes holds a distinction of being the only player to bat 300 in 4 major leagues: the Players' League, the American Association, the National League, and the American League. As Duffy put it, it just comes natural. You just walk up there and hit it, and that's all. Duffy was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1945, and he passed away on October 19, 1954. As a youth, he worked in a blue dye shop, lifting heavy masses of wet cloth out of a machine that gave him remarkable strength in the wrists. That was said of Lee Allen, historian for the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. His career stats and career at a glance: he played in 1,737 games, had 7,044 at-bats, 1,554 runs scored, 2,293 hits, 325 doubles, 119 triples, 106 home runs. He had 1,302 RBIs, 574 stolen bases, 664 walks, a batting average of .326, an OPS of .837, an on-base percentage of .386, and a slugging percentage of .451. During his playing years, he played for the Chicago Cubs in 1888 to 1890, the Chicago Pirates from 1890, Boston Reds from 1891, the Boston Braves from 1892 to 1900, the Milwaukee Brewers in 1901, the Philadelphia Phillies from 1904 through 1906. He did also manage for the Milwaukee Brewers in 1901, the Philadelphia Phillies in 1904 through 1906, the Chicago White Sox in 1910 and 1911, and the Boston Red Sox from 1921 through 1922. So there you have it. Hugh Duffy was our 6th Hall of Famer. Moving on to number 7 here was HUGHIE Jennings. HUGHIE Jennings was our 7th Hall of Famer, inducted in 1945. Hugh Ambrose Jennings' primary team was the Baltimore Orioles, and he was a shortstop. Let me take a brief station identification break here for a sip of water. or commonly known as wetting my whistle. All right, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame as a player. HUGHIE Jennings was also a leader on the field, which propelled him to a successful career as a manager after his playing days were over. Jennings played with Baltimore teams that won the National League championships for 3 consecutive years from 1894 to 1896. Over those 3 seasons, Jennings had 355 runs batted in and hit 335, 386, and 401. In 1895, to go with his 386 average, he had 204 hits, scored 159 runs, drove in 125, and stole 53 bases. During the following season, he had 209 hits, and 70 stolen bases, also getting a major league record by being hit by a pitch 51 times. All right, for his career, Jennings batted .312 with 1,526 hits, scored 992 runs, stole 359 bases. He also led all shortstops in the league in fielding average 4 times. The shortstop was hit by a pitch a record of 287 times in his career. In one game in particular, he was hit in the head by a pitch in the 3rd inning, and remarkably, he continued to play the rest of the game. But as soon as it finished, he collapsed and remained unconscious for the 3 days that followed. After the 1899 season, in which he played for the pennant-winning Brooklyn Superbass, Jennings went to Cornell Law School and began his managerial career with the university baseball team, while also completing his studies. He left campus before finishing his degree in 1904 season to manage the Eastern League's Orioles, and was hired as the manager of the Detroit Tigers in 1907. He later passed the bar and enjoyed a long career practicing law. Jennings led the Tigers to 3 consecutive pennants in his first 3 seasons with the team and stayed with the team until 1920. He compiled 1,131 wins in his 14 years as Detroit's manager. Now it is raining really hard. Monsoon time. The Detroit manager became known for yelling "Yee-haw" from the coaching box as a form of encouragement for his players. It became his nickname, and fans would yell the word whenever he came on the field. Jennings passed away on February 1st, 1928, and he was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1945. Jennings in his prime was the greatest shortstop in baseball, said Joe Vila of the New York Sun. Again, his career stats and career at a glance. He played in 1,284 games, 4,895 at-bats, 992 runs scored, 1,562 hits, 232 doubles, 88 triples, 18 home runs, 840 RBIs, 359 stolen bases, 347 walks. He had a career batting average of .312, an OPS of .797, an on-base percentage of .391, and a slugging percentage of .406. He played for the Louisville Colonels from 1891 to 1893, the Baltimore Orioles with the National League 1893 to 1899, the Brooklyn Dodgers from 1899 to 1900, the Philadelphia Phillies from 1901 to 1902, and the Detroit Tigers from 1907 to 1918. And then while he was with the Detroit Tigers, he managed the Detroit Tigers from 1907 to 1920, and then went with the New York Giants from 1924 to 1925. So there you have it. Our 7th Hall of Famer, HUGHIE Jennings. All right, on to Hall of Famer number 8 for our 1945 Hall of Famers, King Kelly. King Kelly, his nickname, his full name, Michael Joseph Kelly. Inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1945, his primary team was the Chicago White Stockings, and his primary position was a right fielder. King Kelly was not only one of the top players of his day, but was also one of the most popular. He played in the late 1870s and 1880s during a time that he was the biggest drawing card in the sport. Kelly helped the Chicago White Stockings to 5 pennants, and when he was sold to the Boston Beaneaters for the incredible total of $10,000, fans were so upset that many refused to attend Chicago's home opener that followed. The attendance for the opener was abysmal. But when the Beaneaters came to Chicago, the fans poured through the gates to see their favorite player, even though he was sporting a rival uniform. When Kelly played with the White Stockings, he began to study the rules of baseball and tried to figure out ways to get around them. Cap Anson gave Kelly credit for originating the hit and run play, and together the two came up with strategies for the sport that are now considered commonplace. Some of the things they worked on were playing first and third base, adjusting the outfield positions according to the player's batting, the double steal, and the infield shift. The outfielder started his career in 1878 with the Cincinnati Reds and was soon given the title of the King of Baseball. He led the league in batting from the first time in 1884, hitting .354 for the season. Kelly won the batting crown once again in 1886, a year that could be considered his best. Over the season, he hit .388 and also led the National League with 155 runs, scored and a .483 on-base percentage. Kelly stole at least 50 bases a season for 5 consecutive years, in 1886 to 1890, and swiped a career-high 84 bags for Boston in 1887. In one game, he stole 6 bases, and on multiple occasions, he stole 5 in a game. Kelly was one of the first players to regularly steal third base and home, something he often did in succession. Kelly won 8 pennants with various teams in his 16 seasons in the game. He also hit better than 308 times. He led the league 3 times in both doubles and runs scored, and is one of the few National League players to have scored a record 6 runs in a game. Though he primarily played right field, with frequent appearances in left field. In his career, he played every position on the diamond and even trying his hand on the mound. Kelly was also the author of baseball's first biography, Play Ball, Stories of the Ball Field, which was published in 1888. Kelly passed away on November 8, 1894, and he was elected into the Hall of Fame in 1945. Kelly in his day was as popular a figure as Babe Ruth would later be, and there was hardly a boy in the land who did not follow the daily doings of the king. That was said of Lee Allen, historian for the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. As far as his career stats and career at a glance, he played in 1,456 games, 5,896 at-bats, 1,357 runs scored, 1,813 hits, 359 doubles, 102 triples, 69 home runs, 950 RBIs, 368 stolen bases, 549 walks. He had a career batting average of .307, an OPS of .806, an on-base percentage of .368, and a slugging percentage of .438. During his playing years, he played for the Cincinnati Reds in 1878 and 1879, the Chicago White Stockings from 1880 to 1886, the Boston Braves from 1887 to 1889, the Boston Reds from 1890 to 1891, back to the Boston Braves from 1891 to 1892, the Cincinnati Kelly's Killers 1 year in 1891, and the New York Giants in 1893. There you have it, our 8th Hall of Famer for 1945, King Kelly. Moving on to Hall of Famer number 9 for this episode, almost finishing up here. Moving on to Jim O'Rourke. James Henry O'Rourke, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1945. Primary team, the New York Giants. and his primary position was a left fielder. All right. The batter who slashed the National League's first hit, Jim O'Rourke, played the game professionally past the age of 50 before continuing his baseball life as a manager, umpire, and minor league president. Explaining his longevity, O'Rourke said, "I lived a clean life. I never touched liquor in any form, nor did I ever use tobacco. I always took care of myself. That's the reason I'm playing ball today, and that's the reason why I can enjoy the game." Nicknamed Orator Jim because of a tendency toward lengthy rhetoric, O'Rourke captured the National League batting title in 1884 with a .347 average. During his career, he batted .300 or better 13 times and finished with a .310 batting average. O'Rourke hit a career-high .362 with the 1877 Boston Red Sox, leading the National League with an on-base percentage of .407. He scored a league-leading 68 runs in 61 games. O'Rourke helped the New York Giants to their first 2 league championships in 1888 and 1889. In 1889, at age 38, he batted .321 with 81 RBIs and 33 stolen bases. In 1890, when a member of the New York Giants of the Players League, O'Rourke put together a standout season. He batted .360 with a career-high 115 RBIs in 111 games and a career-high 9 home runs. O'Rourke continued to play in the minor leagues after hitting .287 as a 42-year-old in 1893 for Washington. At the age of 54, he played one more game in the major leagues with the New York Giants, going 1-for-4 for manager John McGraw. O'Rourke passed away on January the 8th, 1919, and was elected into the Hall of Fame in 1945. O'Rourke has made a brilliant record for himself as an outfielder, being an excellent judge of a ball, a swift runner, and making the most difficult running catches with the utmost ease and certainty. As a thrower, too, he stands preeminent, being credited with a throw of 365 feet, the next to the longest yet accomplished by any player. That was reported by the Sporting Life in 1878. His career stats and career at a glance: he played in 1,999 games, 8,503 at-bats, 1,729 runs scored, 2,639 hits, 468 doubles, 149 triples, 62 home runs, 2,008 RBIs, 229 stolen bases. He walked 513 times, a batting average of .310, OPS 775, on-base percentage .352, and a slugging percentage of .422. During his playing career, he played for the Boston Red Sox from 1876 to 1878, Province Grays in 1879, Boston Red Sox from 1880, Buffalo Bisons 1881 to 1884, the New York Giants from 1885 to 1889, the New York Giants Pacific League 1890, the New York Giants 1891 to 1892, the Washington Senators in 1893, and the New York Giants in 1904. And he managed the Buffalo Bisons from 1881 to 1884 and the Washington Senators in 1893. So there you have it, our 9th Hall of Famer for 1945. Now moving on to our final Hall of Famer for today's program. Wilbert Robinson was inducted. In 1945, his primary team was the Brooklyn Dodgers, and he was a manager for that team. The folksy, neighborly image we now have of the Brooklyn Dodgers was largely shaped by Wilbert Robinson, their manager from 1914 to 1931, during which time sports writers began referring to the team as the Robins in his honor. So lasting was that affectionate term that it evolved into the Flock long after Uncle Robbie left the scene, and the official nickname reverted to the Dodgers. Flock was still regularly used in tabloid headlines until the team moved to Los Angeles following the 1957 season. Robinson was the first 20th century Dodger to be elected to the Hall of Fame, and his feud with one-time teammate and business partner John McGraw helped make the Dodgers-Giants rivalry one of the greatest in baseball history. In 1891, Robinson and McGraw became teammates with the Baltimore Orioles, a franchise that would go on to win 2 consecutive Temple Cups as baseball champions. This was a remarkable team, which also featured future Hall of Famers Joe Kelly, Dan Brouthers, Willie Keeler, HUGHIE Jennings, and manager Ned Hanlon. Robinson was the catcher, and while a lifetime .273 hitter, he topped 305 times, and on June 10, 1892, experienced a 7-for-7 afternoon at the plate. That 7-for-7 performance in a 9-inning game remains in the record book, equaled only once by Pittsburgh's Rennie Stennett in 1975. Robinson and McGraw became business partners in Baltimore with a cafe called the Diamond. When the National League cut back from 12 to 8 teams in 1900, the 2 players were sold to St. Louis, but happily returned to Baltimore a year later to play for the new American League Orioles, enabling them to keep a closer watch on their business. McGraw quit the following summer, joining the National League's New York Giants to begin his 31-year reign as manager there, while Robinson stayed behind to finish out the season and begin his managing career. After the Orioles moved to New York in 1903, becoming the Highlanders and later the Yankees, Robinson all but left the game before reuniting full-time with baseball and McGraw in 1911 as a coach. Following the 1913 World Series, when the Giants lost to the A's, the two got into an argument which caused their rift. A month later, Robinson was hired to manage the Dodgers, and from that point on, the two would smile for cameras but never completely reconcile. By 1916, Robinson had molded the Dodgers into a pennant winner, bringing Brooklyn its first modern era National League title. They would capture the National League flag again in 1920. Robinson's stories quickly became part of baseball lore during spring training in Daytona Beach in Florida in 1915. Robinson agreed to use his old catching skills to snare a baseball dropped from 525 feet from an airplane. The stunt went bad when the pilot, Ruth Law, instead dropped a grapefruit, which exploded on impact and left Robinson temporarily believing that he was seriously wounded. Such was the stuff of a growing Brooklyn legend. Following the Dodgers' 1920 pennant, the beloved Uncle Robbie managed 11 more seasons, finishing with a career record of 1,399 wins and 1,398 losses over 19 seasons. Robinson passed away on August the 8th, 1934, and he was elected into the Hall of Fame in 1945. Robbie was a rule-of-thumb manager, a gentle Falstaff who could get more out of less material than any manager before or since, said Tom Meany of the Saturday Evening Post in March of 1937. His career at a glance: he managed 2,818 games with a 1,399 wins and 1,398 losses, which basically gave him a .500 winning percentage. So he basically won only one game more than the number of games that he lost while he was managing. All right. When he did play for a short stint there for a few years. He played for the Philadelphia Athletics in 1886 to 1890, the Baltimore Orioles of the National League 1890 to 1899, the St. Louis Cardinals in 1900, and the Baltimore Orioles in the American League 1901 to 1902. And then after he finished his playing career, he went and did his managing career from 1902 with the Baltimore Orioles in the American League, and then the Brooklyn Dodgers from 1914 to 1931. So there you have it, our 10th and final Hall of Famer for 1945, Wilbert Johnson. All right. Let me go back up here and see if I'll give you a preview for next week's Hall of Famers, of which in 1944 will be a short week next week. It's just going to be in 1944 was Keenshaw Landis in 1944, and he was an executive for Major League Baseball. So just give you a heads up for what our next week's Hall of Fame Friday will be producing. Only one inductee, Keenshaw Landis, an executive for baseball for next week. All right. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let me do a refresh on the chat here, and then we'll get ready for our last part of our stream here, which will be the blaster box. So let me move these off to the side here real quick. I will file those away in my Hall of Fame postcard binder a little bit later here. I got to get one more stand down here to set up for our next part of our stream here, which will be going through our blaster box opening. After this, I've got one more blaster box left, and then the search will be on to finish my set for this Topps Archives. All right. So hopefully everybody is doing well. Now it is pouring outside. The wind has died down, but now I guess the wind had to blow the rain clouds in, and now it's a torrential downpour outside. But that's okay. I'm inside where it's dry. That's why I have a nice roof over my head. All right. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get ready to open up this archives box here in search for, I think I'm down to 38 more cards for the set. As far as I remember, just need 38 more cards to complete this set. Hopefully within this box and the last box when we get to it, it will cut that number down. I think I got 7 or 8 cards that I was missing yesterday. So it was a good box yesterday, that's for sure. I did get a bunch of cards that I needed for the base cards in this set. Trying to complete a base card set for this one. So without further ado, we will get into this box here. Pull our box topper out here. There's our box topper out of the box here. All right, we will have that one there. You pull these seven packs out here. We will get those laid out. Let me get the box in the background so everybody knows what product we are opening here. And as usual fashion, we will do the box topper last. So let me get these packs lined up here as we go through these 7 packs. Kind of like to lay them out here so you can see them as we go through them. All right, this one right in front, that'll be the first one we'll open there. I believe I've got everything good to go here. Let me just scroll this down just a little bit. There we go. All right. I think we are good to go. Got to go to work today, but this is my weekend off. I'll keep you going on the way to work. Oh, no problem. I know you usually do that, Letvine. And thanks for popping into the stream here. Appreciate you being here this morning before you head off to work. And we will get ready to rip through this box. See if we can find either a short print or a good insert that I don't have, or the high numbers that I need in this set. I think I'm pretty close to about having half of the high number cards. Although I do need a bunch of cards for the set. So we'll see what we get here. We've got the Atlanta Braves pitcher Mike Soroka for our 19. Oh, what's this year? Sorry. For the 1974 cards here. Then we've got Max Scherzer here for the Washington Nationals pitcher. Then we've got Blake Snell for the Tampa Bay Rays pitcher. All right. Then we've got the 2002. There we go. Cole Calhoun with the Arizona Diamondbacks for Kevin's card collecting and more. Arizona Diamondbacks here. Getting close to the end of the season. Think the Seattle Mariners, we got a makeup game tomorrow, so we got a single game today, a doubleheader tomorrow, and then one last game on Sunday, and then our regular season's over. I think we're mathematically eliminated from even the wild card spot. Even if we won all 4 games and the team ahead of us lost all the rest of their games, we'd be 1 game short. We have a doubleheader today also. Okay. Yep. The end of the season, I think, for most ball clubs ends this Sunday, and then the playoffs will start next month. I can't remember if the date's actually in October or what. There we've got Carter Kieboom here. Carter Kieboom with the Washington Nationals. Then we've got Anthony K, rookie card for the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't think we have any inserts in this pack. Then we've got Francisco Lindor with the Cleveland Indians and Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani with the California Angels. So no insert cards in that pack. Does happen on occasion. So just the base cards. Well, take that back. There might be an insert, or a short print card in here. I've found 1 short print card out of all the blasters I've opened so far, so they can be found, that's for sure. Give you a heads up too for tomorrow. I probably will do my Denny's Grand Slam, but it'll be in the afternoon. I'm probably going to tentatively schedule it for 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, because I will be going with a couple of men from the church and going to a I'll leave it at this, a political luncheon. I'm going to a political luncheon tomorrow. I'm not really big in politics, but we do want to try and get a new governor in the state of Washington. So the Oakland Athletics outfielder, Stephen Piscotty, is our first 74 type card. And then we have Toronto Blue Jays first baseman, Rowdy Tellez. And a San Francisco Giants shortstop, Brandon Crawford. Then we've got Anthony Rendon. Anthony Rendon for the California Angels. Boom, there we go. Our first Hall of Famer today. Chipper Jones with the Atlanta Braves. Oh, boom, there we go. El Magoo. I think I might have an El Magoo. But if not, we'll add that to my high number cards. This is card number 313. El Magoo. El Magoo. I like these short print, kind of like a nickname cards. El Magoo. And then there's another Hall of Famer, Luis Aparicio. Aparicio with the Chicago White Sox, and Robin Yount, Hall of Famer Robin Yount with the Milwaukee Brewers. So one insert card so far, a couple of Hall of Famers showing up. Better than the first pack, that's for sure. Cole, we have El Magoo. El Magoo. All right, next we have Carlos Correa with the Houston Astros shortstop. All right. Roberto Alomar for the Toronto Blue Jays. First Hall of Famer for the 74 cards. Boom, there we go. There we go for our Pittsburgh Pirates, Ralph Kiner, Hall of Famer Ralph Kiner. Put him in front of Chipper. Cody Bellinger with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Elvis Andrus with the Texas Rangers. Boom, there we go, another high number card. 323. John Schmaltzy, Sports Extra card. I put him right behind El Magoo. I like that El Magoo card there. El Magoo. AJ Puck, rookie card for the Oakland Athletics. And then our final 55 card, Brock Burke, Texas Rangers pitcher. Rookie card. Always put my Hall of Famers in front of the other players. All right, middle pack of the box, pack number 4. All right, we've got our Sandy Koufax. There we go, Hall of Famer Sandy Koufax with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Kerry Wood with the Chicago Cubs. Pitcher. 2002, Yuli Gurriel with the Houston Astros. Jonathan Villar with the Miami Marlins. There we go, Kevin. Starling Marte with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Here we go. Just Dingers, Smith and Muncy for our insert card here. Smith and Muncy. So 3 insert cards so far. Charlie Blackmon with the Colorado Rockies. And Keston Hiura with the Milwaukee Brewers. All right, moving on to pack number 5. Oh no, Ketel Marte got traded. Oh boy. What was Arizona thinking? Here we go, Roberto Clemente with the Pittsburgh Pirates, Hall of Famer Roberto Clemente. Oh, here you go, Kevin. You probably got this guy still, don't you? Trent Grisham with the San Diego Padres, rookie card. All right, and then we've got Marco Gonzalez with the Seattle Mariners, pitcher. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Marco Gonzalez. Then we got Alan Trammell, Hall of Famer Alan Trammell. All right. Boom, another Hall of Famer, Whitey Ford with the New York Yankees. Sorry, that was Alan Trammell with the Detroit Tigers. Whitey Ford with the New York Yankees. I think it was the Yankees, wasn't it? Yep. Eloy Jimenez, Gold Cup card for the Chicago White Sox. All right. Put him in the back there. And then next we've got Will Smith with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Hall of Famer Jackie Robinson with the Brooklyn Dodgers. There we go. Get some more Hall of Famers here. Pack number 6 coming up. Not Ketel, but Starling. Oh, okay. Here we go. Arizona Diamondbacks, second baseman and outfielder Ketel Marte with the Diamondbacks for Kevin's card collecting and more. All right. San Diego Padres, Eric Hosmer, first baseman. There we go, the big hurt Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas with the Chicago White Sox. possible up-and-coming Hall of Famer, if he makes it in, Alex Rodriguez with the Texas Rangers. Andres Munoz, rookie card for the San Diego Padres. Ooh, I don't know if I've got this one. Morejon. Adrian Morejon for the San Diego Padres, rookie card. Morejon. And then Ramon Laureano for the Oakland Athletics. Yeah, there you go, Kevin. A lot of Padres and Arizona Diamondbacks. Sam Hilliard with the Colorado Rockies, rookie card. So nothing earth-shattering. No short prints that I'm aware of yet, but I'll double-check them when I go through and check the serial numbers on the back of the cards. Sometimes they're just slight variations, like it might be a different position for the insert picture, 2 different angles, or different uniform colors. So it's just, sometimes it's slight variations where you wouldn't notice what they are until you say, oh wow, that's pretty interesting. But let's see if we can get some last pack mojo here. Last pack mojo out of the box. We've got Hunter Dozier with the Kansas City Royals, third base and outfielder. Then we've got John Lester with the Chicago Cubs, pitcher. DJ LeMahieu with the New York Yankees, second baseman. Then we've got John Means with the Baltimore Orioles, Gold Cup card. Andrew Jones with the Atlanta Braves. So no, another one of these. I know I got this one. I got a couple of these already. Sandman. Do 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 do. Sandman. Mariano Rivera. Sorry, I gotta do my Sandman. Gotta do my Sandman for that one. Short print card. And then Brusdar Graterol with the Los Angeles Dodgers, rookie card, and Mike Mussina. I believe Mike Mussina, yep, is a Hall of Famer. That's right, I thought Mike Mussina was a Hall of Famer. With the Baltimore Orioles. Put him in front here. All right, so there we have it. Those there, and let's top it off with Kev, your Padres, my Braves could meet in playoffs. If that happens, our friendship will be halted temporarily. Are you texting while you're driving there, left behind? Hopefully you were at a traffic light when you typed that in. All right, so let's see what we got for our box topper here. Uh-oh. This would be awesome. I seen something in there, but I don't know for sure if that means anything. But we will see. Oh my word. Tell you what, I'll give you a clue on this one. And I am just ecstatic. I was watching some of his videos yesterday. I might do that when I'm going to probably have to do that one of these days here. I'm going to play that video on my channel, and we can chit-chat while I'm playing the video. I think it's a 40-minute video. I can't monetize that video when I do it, but I'd like to share that video online and just watch, and it'll just be exciting. But I'll say some people in the stream might recognize who this is if I say Mr. Blue Eyes of baseball. Let me give that as a clue. Mr. Blue Eyes of baseball. Does that give you a clue as to what I'm talking about here? Mr. Blue Eyes of baseball. Come on. Somebody out there should know what I'm talking about. Mr. Blue Eyes of baseball. Mr. Blue Eyes of baseball. That Kevin got it right. Cal Ripken Jr. box topper. Awesome card to get there. Cal, oh, can't do it justice there. Got to put him right here. Oh, no. Got to put it even lower. There we go. I'm going to stand him right here. Mr. Blue Eyes himself, Cal Ripken Jr. Cal Ripken Jr. Let Bind Time set it to Cal Ripken Jr. Oh my word! I got your man. I got my man. Yep. I seen that part when I seen the back of the card, but I saw Lou Gehrig too, so I'm like, But it says Ripken streaks into the record books. A massive worldwide audience tuned in to watch history on September 6, 1995, as Cal Ripken Jr. broke Lou Gehrig's record by playing in his 2,131st consecutive game with an Oriole Park at Camden Yards sellout crowd cheering his every move. The shortstop belted a cinematic home run in the bottom of the fourth inning. One frame later, when the contest became official, a banner was unveiled on the outfield warehouse with the digits signifying his achievement. Cal ran a lap around the warning track, handing out high fives as the ovation lasted more than 22 minutes. Awesome. That is a nice little box topper to add to this set. Even if I didn't get nothing special in the last box topper, in the last blaster box I have. Boom, boom, boom. Cal Ripken Jr. That makes me a happy camper today to end with a Cal Ripken Jr. And I know I don't have that card in my Cal Ripken Jr. collection, but now I do. That'll go in my binder for now because I don't have nothing. I got to get a little oversized card holder because it won't fit in there. All right. Oh, wait, no. Actually, I think I might have one that'll fit into. No, that's still big. They do make big ones, that's for sure. And this one's even bigger, but I won't pull that one out. Got to measure that and see if they make a top loader that size. They probably do. I think they got all kinds of size. They even got the mini top holders. But that is an awesome one and gets me just in time for finishing up for the day here. I will go through, see how many of these cards I can add into my set, getting my number closer to completing the base card set here. But Cal Ripken Jr., awesomeness. These are about the size, you can see, I'll show you, of the, they're just a little bit smaller than the postcards here, so it fits in the same binder that I have for the Hall of Fame postcard binder. And I do have extra pages there. Gotta run. Hope to see you at 3. I won't stream long as my Diamondbacks first pitch is around 3:40. Arizona mystery box will be revealed. Okay, an Arizona mystery box. Oh no, is this maybe I'll take a guess, but I'll wait until just before you open it on your live stream there, Kevin, at 3 o'clock. All right, so make sure you guys, if you're available, go ahead and check out Kevin's live stream at 3 o'clock this afternoon Pacific time. And until then, let me back my chair up here, turn my camera around, do my signature sign off for you. And let's turn the camera around real quick here. This is Donald Blomdahl, Hall of Fame veteran, sports cards and collectibles, having been live to you from Arlington, Washington. Won't keep my time here long. Again, Kevin's live at 3 o'clock. Make sure you check out his stream. Go over to his channel at 3 o'clock and let's watch Kevin open up his Arizona mystery box. All right, so that'll be cool. Show you my shirt that I wear on my Hall of Fame Fridays. Hall of Fame members for this. It actually says, if you see the very top, it says Seattle Mariners Hall of Fame members. But I like to do it just because of the Hall of Fame members here. Of course, you can see the Seattle Mariners. On the back, it does list the 9 or 8, soon to be 9, Seattle Mariners that are in the Hall of Fame. All right, includes one of them's a manager. But other than that, it is nice to be able to share with you guys. Don't forget, tomorrow afternoon, right around 3 p.m. I'm gonna schedule the stream for that time. Hopefully I make it in time. Get back from Tacoma, Washington, which is just south, a couple cities south of Seattle, Washington. So hopefully I'll be back by that time to do my 3 o'clock stream. And then we will see you guys tomorrow afternoon, hopefully about 3 o'clock, to do my Grand Slam Saturdays for, I think it'll be the next, let me double check my schedule here. It will be September, let me get into September. Yeah, it'll be the 1994 Denny's Grand Slam set. We'll be previewing that tomorrow, and most likely finish up my last blaster box in my quest to finish the Topps Archives base set. And hopefully I'll get a complete set before long. So until then, you all have a great and wonderful day. We'll see you in Kevin's stream this afternoon at 3 p.m. Lord bless you all. Take care, and TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. The weekend is upon us. Bye for now. Take care. Turn the camera back around so you guys can see Blue Eyes himself there, Cal Ripken Jr., and you all take care.